this is Jack and Kay, and welcome for another edition of the Pokemon Go Fireside Chat. Before we get started, I just want to give you an update that I do still have plans for doing a huge retrospective on Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. However, I did the whole podcast spiel thing for half an hour, and probably only covered maybe the first hour or two of the entire game, so it's gonna take a bit, and instead of rushing it, I figured I might as well put that in the back burner for a little bit longer and talk about something related to Pokemon Go. After all, I've been meaning to talk about some ways that we can spice up Go Battle League, even before we got the Specialized Cups. Obviously, the Specialized Cups have really helped with that, and are a little bit different of a direction than what I was thinking of going in, which is more so only adds on to the reason I say of why I really want to take some time to talk about this today, because I think this is a really fun idea that was inspired by other mobile games I played that I think could translate well into Pokemon Go. And while we're talking about Go Battle League, I might as well talk about other things that they can do to improve the process. I mean, there's the obvious improve the servers, fix the lag, destroy the exploits, but we all been talking about these issues with Go Battle League for a long period of time, and I figured that it'd be more fun to put the spotlight on ways to conceptually improve Go Battle League rather than just improve the mechanics within, if I'm making any sense. If not, it should become clear as I ramble on. Since I've taken so long to actually do this podcast though, I can at least take advantage of the fact of observing some of the things that Niantic has already done to try to spice up Go Battle League and give my own little critiques on them. Both things I like and things I don't like about it. And the first thing that sticks out to me is the current prize pool of Season 3. As I'm recording this, the current season of Go Battle League. I believe we had the preseason and Season 2 was so long that sometimes I'm worried I'm getting confused, but besides the point. It's a little bit of a mixed bag. To some degree, not as strong as some of the previous season's Pokemon prize pools, but in other senses, I kind of like what they're going for, if only in terms of theming. Let me just explain what the prizes are before I go into details of what I like and don't like about them. Starting with Rank 1, the first time you get the Pokemon prize pool, you get yourself a Pidgeot. If you happen to win any more battles of a set, at least to the point of being able to get another Pokemon encounter, you'll either run into a Pidgeot, a Machop, a Treecko, a Torchic, or a Mudkip, all the way until Rank 4. Once you get to Rank 4, and assuming you have already caught that Pidgeot, you'll get an encounter with a Galarian Zigzagoon. And I'm going to be straightforward with you all now. At this point, I kind of feel like the source that I'm using to reference the Pokemon in the prize pool contradicts in some places with the Pokemon I currently have in the prize pool, by which I mean I have Pokemon Go open right now and I'm looking at the Pokemon that are available for my rank, and I see a couple listed on my screen that are not mentioned in this source. Unfortunately, I don't got a good source for exactly what the exact list is, so I'll try to put it all together the best I can. Once you get that Galarian Zigzagoon in Rank 4, you're not guaranteed a new Pokemon prize until Rank 7. However, in between 4 and 7, once you catch that Zigzagoon, you also got access to Dratini, and I got the strong feeling that this is where Skarmory is, because Skarmory is one of those Pokemon that's not listed anywhere in this source, but definitely feels like a Pokemon that would be earlier rank than at the rank 8 that I'm at now. So once you hit rank 7, your first Pokemon encounter will be a Galarian Farfetch. In addition, this is when Cypher gets added to the prize pool. And maybe Litwick as well. Honestly, I just jumped from 7 to 8 so quickly, I wasn't quite sure. But yeah, once you hit rank 8, Rufflet is added to the prize pool, and it is a guaranteed encounter, so once you caught the previous Pokemon, your next encounter will be that Rufflet. And same thing with Scraggy once you hit rank 9, and Pikachu Libre once you hit rank 10. So, as a rank 8 player currently, I can tell you exactly what I got in my Pokemon prize pool. And that's the one thing I am 100% sure about what you can get. Once you hit rank 8, and you go through your guaranteed encounters, you'll get one of the following Pokemon: Pidgeot, Treecko, Torchic, Mudkip, Rufflet, Dratini, Skarmory, Cypher, Galarian Farfetch, Dino. Another important detail that this Eurogamer article really should have mentioned, nevertheless, Machop, Litwick, and Galarian Zigzagoon. As far as I can tell, once you got your guaranteed counters out of the way, you're just as likely to get one of these over the other. And now that I got all that out, let me talk a little bit about that prize pool. First and foremost, props to Niantic for finally swapping around the starters. Even though you'll never hear the community talk about it, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, because technically the starters we got were the latest starters, so in theory, because none of them have had community days either, they'd be the ones that we need candy most for an inevitable starter community day. With that said, we've had these starters for 2 seasons and a preseason. It's about time for a change. Plus, all these starters are a lot more viable for PvP than the ones that we had so far. So just being more viable for PvP automatically makes them more valuable than the Unova starters that we had to deal with before. Plus, they actually have a shiny chance, unlike the Unova starters. Like I said, there's an argument for the Unova starters, specifically more for casual players, but I do think it's kind of cool that they brought in a starter family that has a prominent role in Great League PvP. Like, Treecko Slime is the only questionable one. I guess I more so just want to emphasize Mudkip, because Swampert is amazing in pretty much every league that it can run in, assuming you got that Hydro Cannon on it. But I have seen niches for both Sceptile and Torchic, which is more than I can say for the Unova line. In addition, Pidgeot is a bit of a downgrade from Metagross that we've gotten in previous seasons, but I'll get more on that later. Those of you who are passionate about Go Battle League already know this, but since I've gone into such great detail over so much of the prizes as is, might as well just go over everything else you get. For one, once you hit rank 7, if you haven't already, you get the Pikachu Libre costume set for your trainer, in addition to getting an Elite Charge TM at the end of the season. If you manage to hit rank 10 during Season 3, you get new avatar costumes and pulses inspired by the champion from Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and all other associated games, Steven Stone. I know technically he's not a champion in Emerald, but technically he's a super boss still, so whatever. I'll be honest, I only went into so much detail over Season 3 specifically because I thought I would have more to criticize, but now that I'm actually gone for all the basic ranks where you don't need to worry about rating, you just gotta win, which eventually you'll win enough if you keep at it. But now that I'm actually at those higher ranks, this Pokemon prize pool looks a lot better than it did before. Back when, early on, when it was rank 1, 2, 3, and so forth, only being able to choose between Pidgeot, the Hoenn Stars, and Machop was a little underwhelming. And I kind of see where they were trying to go with making Season 3 a bit more special than past seasons. Instead of it just being battle prominent Pokemon prizes, they wanted to tie a few Pokemon that fit the theming that they were doing for it. Specifically with Pidgeot instead of Metagross, because Metagross is obviously more valuable because you want both the candy and the Stardust, while Pidgeot's more valuable just for the Stardust. Who knows though, maybe I'm jumping the gun and maybe Mega Pidgeot will be amazing in one of these leagues and I don't even know it yet. Plus, when I actually get down and actually analyze the Pokemon prize pool, it doesn't even fit the theme that bad. It's just Pidgeot just seems a lot more of a booby prize than Metagross does. And I can see why they want to do something more thematic, because this is going to be the first league, the first season of Go Battle League, where they have a special themed cup, the Flying Cup. We don't really have too many details as I'm recording this, of when it's going to be taking place. I can see what they were trying to go for with theming the Pokemon prize pools. It does make things a lot more interesting and dynamic to actually have a different set of Pokemon prizes each season. However, it's a tough thing to balance because a lot of things in Go Battle League are so valuable, and Go Battle League, despite all the RNG involved getting the one you specifically want beyond your guaranteed encountered for each rank, are really valuable and you can't get them in too many places outside of Go Battle League. Some, like Scraggy and Rufflet, are usually exclusive to Go Battle League minus certain events. Others, like Dino, are just super rare normally. So when I was watching some of the stuff from the Go Fest trainer lounges, and I saw the part of the developer interview that went, Go Battle League is about getting themed, fun prizes as Pokemon encounters. My first thought was like, oh no, this ain't gonna go well. Only because I just value the Pokemon that typically are in the Go Battle League prize pool so much. However, I think there's a room for a balance between having a fun theme set through not just the cups that take place in the season, but the Pokemon you can get as well. There's a way to balance that with the other side of having just really good prizes for Pokemon encounters. I think it requires a blend of just keeping some of the really good stuff consistent between each season, along with the stuff that's exclusive to Go Battle League, like Scraggy and Rufflet. But instead of taking out rare Pokemon, maybe swapping around the Pokemon trainers tend to classify as booby prizes. Things like swapping Metagross with Pidgeot seem good on paper, and a good step towards this compromise. It's just that I'm personally more of a fan of getting Metagross in comparison to Pidgeot. And that's just part of like the whole argument between like having a fun theme with your prize pool and having good stuff in your prize pool. If you're going for the theming, then it makes sense. But if you're already so attached to the prizes that are already in there, I can see why it's harder to actually make that jump. And it just doesn't help that feels like there's way too much RNG involved with Go Battle League when it comes to getting the Pokemon you want from it. So I guess the point is there's a lot of careful balancing you have to do, and I personally would just prefer Go Battle League to be consistent, but good, in comparison to being thematic and not as valuable. But I definitely see the appeal to other players of having a theme, and it would help make it more fun. So it's just a matter of finding that balance. Part of the tricky part is just when you get a Pokemon encounter, if it's not guaranteed for hitting a certain rank, you could literally get anything in that pool. And it's not like the less valuable stuff becomes less common to run into the higher rank you get. I think the best way to go about it though is if they're so determined to keep some of the less valuable Pokemon, like Skarmory, that those are the Pokemon you swap around between each season. Because it makes sense to have Skarmory for the Flying Cup season. It's a valuable Great League PvP Pokemon, and the only reason I don't want it is just because I already have a good one, and I personally feel like as a player who's been playing the game for a long time, there's been plenty of opportunities for it. So it's not like Skarmory's even a bad Pokemon to get, just one that I don't think that many people that have been real focused on Go Battle League actually need. If you're trying to get into Go Battle League, it's a fantastic Pokemon to get. But then you get into like the IVs and like, because it's a static encounter, not something in the wild, like you might not be able to get the IVs you want, but that's a whole conversation for another time. The point I'm getting at is if they want to have a Water Cup theme for the next season, I'd be okay with Skarmory going away in replacement with a valuable water type Pokemon for Great League PvP, such as Meryl. Actually, Meryl would actually be a pretty good Pokemon to put in the Go Battle League prize pool. If you gotta keep it from just being all the super rare stuff like Dino and that. Cause Azumarill is a fantastic Pokemon for Great League PvP, and it's been fantastic since the beginning of Go Battle League, to the point of some people's annoyance even. And you don't even have to worry about the static encounter IVs because Azumarill maxes out so close to 1500, you actually want to have higher IVs compared to some of these other Pokemon that you use for Great League where you want a little bit lower IVs. Other examples I can think of too is like if they want to have a season focused around Kanto, Johto, or Hoenn, that would be the perfect time to swap around the starters. Like I said, I think it's great that the Hoenn starters are this particular season starters because the Gen 1 and Gen 3 starters have some of the most viable PvP Pokemon of several Go Battle League Cups. Let me just pull up the Pokemon prize pool again to come up with some other examples. Galarian Farfetch was a good addition because it's technically not a flying type, but it's a duck, and normal Farfetch was a flying type. So I personally think that it's a good blend between a rare Pokemon and something that at least sort of fits the theme. Similar thing can be said about Cypher. Scizor has done great work in the Ultra League, especially now that there's a Premier Cup that takes away legendary Pokemon. So having Scizor around for this flying theme season is a great idea. So I think Farfetch and Cypher could easily be replaced with a Pokemon that has a similar standing in at least one of the PvP Cups. And you at least would not be making the next season worse. Again, I see the appeal of having everything on the Go Battle League Pokemon prize pool not be the rarest thing ever. As much as I would prefer to be the rarest thing ever, or at least have the rare things be more common, the higher up in rank you get. All that said, I think the Flying Season 3 Pokemon prize pool isn't so bad. There's just a few gut punches like Pidgeot in exchange for Metagross, but when you think of it more as a theme, it does take away that blow a bit. And I'm kind of curious of what they would do for future seasons, but I just hope they don't take away from the rare and valuable Pokemon just to have them better fit the theme. Unless there's something of an equal value. For example, if we had like an Ice Theme Cup and did something like either replace Dino with Galarian Duramaton, or I'm just trying to think of a Galarian Pokemon that's as valuable as Galarian Duramaton, which is not really a thing. I personally would rather have like Litwick replace Galarian Duramaton. Or just like a Fire Theme Cup where, who would be as valuable as Duramaton though? Because Litwick would still fit that theme, and you can at least like have Lapras replace Dratini, I think, for an Ice Theme Cup. And perhaps like Mantine replace Skarmory, and if we're going Ice Theme, I got it. Replace Galarian Farfetch with Alolan Vulpix. Not as valuable because Alolan's have been in the game longer, but both still Pokemon that are regional variants, and not exactly the most accessible thing in the game otherwise. But I think I've listed enough various examples to get across what I'm trying to say here. Of just like, there is a way to have Go Battle League be themed with its Pokemon encounters without taking away the value of Go Battle League Pokemon encounters. I'll admit I'm just a little iffy on trusting Niantic with that, because there's some good stuff in Go Battle League that I wouldn't want to be replaced unless we had something of equal value replacing it. This is supposed to be a short podcast and we're at 20 minutes and I haven't even thrown around my fun little idea for Go Battle League. So I kind of wanted to incorporate feedback from the community as well, but I want to keep this a short podcast, so instead of doing something on Twitter in advance and just hoping people respond there, I'm just going to put the call out here. If there's concepts for Go Battle League that you guys think should be explored, either ways to theme the Pokemon prize pool, little things you do in between battles to make it more interesting, pretty much let any and all feedback on improving Go Battle League. Tweet them at me at Jacket Stuff. I'll include the exact spelling of that Twitter handle on the video/podcast description as well. Otherwise, you can just go to my site, and I have all my social medias somewhere on the site. Should be on the front page at the very least, including my Twitter. I'm not sure how in depth I'm going to go with it, but I do want to at least throw my personal idea I had out there before they started doing Premier Cups and Theme Cups. If you played a mobile game called Fire Emblem Heroes, you may already be familiar with the concept I was going to share. But in Fire Emblem Heroes, there's a mode called Tempest Trial, where there's a particular theme, usually based around particular characters or a particular game, and you just do a mass gauntlet of battle after battle after battle without rest. And the catch is, you can use whatever characters you want for it, but if you have a character that fits that theme for that particular Tempest Trial, you get an extra bonus. And when I say bonus, I also have to explain the whole fact that in Tempest Trial you're earning points, and the more points you earn, the higher up in rank you get for more in-game items. And some of those elements I feel could translate into Pokemon Go so well. Not as well now that they have these other theme cups and I think the community will like the theme cups overall more than my idea, but it's still a fun idea that I was hoping to share with the internet someday. Early on, one of the trickiest things I could think of with Go Battle League was finding a compromise between people using the most meta-relevant Pokemon because they already have them powered up, and unlike the main series game, the level and strength of your Pokemon depend solely on how much Stardust that you're willing to invest in them, unless you get lucky enough to get a high enough level Pokemon, but not too high depending on the league, right off the bat. And even if you get lucky on that front, you still have to spend Stardust to teach them a second move and all. Point being, you invest a lot into your Pokemon when doing pretty much any PvP trainer battle oriented thing. The higher up in rank you go, the more you might have to invest. So part of the reason why Sylph League is so popular on a Great League level is particularly because of just how much Stardust you have to invest. It's a lot easier to convince someone to come up with a new team every single month for a new Sylph Cup season if they only have to power things up to 1500 in comparison to like some sort of Master League theme Sylph Cup tournament where not only are legendaries much more viable, so you have a lot of Pokemon where you spend 100,000 Stardust, but you also have guaranteed to have to max out every Pokemon you use, compared to like some of the Great League Cups where not only are there more viable Pokemon with lower Stardust costs, but with a few exceptions like Medicham and Azumarill, you don't have to max out a Pokemon to use it for Great League. And I thought this Tempest Trial inspired cup would be a fair compromise between getting some theming on here, but not forcing people who've already invested their Stardust on other Pokemon to not be able to use their Pokemon. Imagine a traditional Great, Ultra, and Master League Cup, similar to what we do already. You can use the viable meta Pokemon if you really want. However, you also have like bonus options, where for each season and each league, they will list out particular Pokemon that, if you use, you would get a Stardust bonus, and maybe additional prizes if you use them in enough battles. Maybe even a bonus Stardust for actually winning in those battles. Let's use the current flying theme that they have for this season as a basis to actually build our alternate universe where this system would take place in. At the start of the season, you would start with Great League, just as before. As you're getting ready to go into your battles though, somewhere along like your rating and where it lists out the prizes you get for how many wins you have in a battle or a set, you would see the special feature Pokemon. The special feature Pokemon would have an additional Stardust bonus if you use them in a battle. These bonus Pokemon could include things like Mantine and Skarmory, Noctowl, Jumpluff, Pokemon that, like, if you look up in PvP Poke, they can even have a range between, like, being excellent for Pokemon Go Great League and just being meh. In an ideal world. In the Niantic's world, they probably wouldn't look too deeply into this stuff, but the overall sentiment of having, like, flying Pokemon that aren't terrible, but aren't OP either, be Pokemon that you can use for additional Stardust bonuses. So you can either build a team around them, or like if you have a favorite Pokemon that happens to already be one of the bonus Pokemon, it gives you more incentive to use that. Plus, it could create some interesting counterplay within the PvP meta, because since these would be featured Pokemon publicly announced, you can build a Great League team in anticipation of seeing things more often. Like, if Skarmory happens to be one of the bonus Pokemon for Great League this season, you know that Skarmory is a good PvP Pokemon, so you're gonna expect to see more Skarmorys this particular season. So you could build a team that counters Skarmory at the risk of other people building teams that are built to be Skarmory counters. So you can have a little bit of fun, just like some people making a team to take advantage of the bonuses, some people making a team to counter those teams, and we can go as many layers deep as possible, like a team that beats the counters, and etc, etc. I think that alone could create some interesting dynamics in Pokemon Go League. Granted, this idea went from something that really was needed to keep the meta fresh for Go Battle League to something that just be cool to see in my mind when they introduced the theme cups. But who's to say that there isn't room for both? In fact, it could go on to enhance the theme even more the more I think about it. Like, if you're doing a flying cup anyways, why not, like, include bonus Pokemon? Let me go through another example, because I kind of want to talk about this from some other leagues. So say that you're doing your Go Battle League, and it swaps over from Season 1 or from the Great League over to the Ultra League. You still keep that Flying Cup theme, but you would do it with Pokemon that would work in that particular meta. For example, instead of having Skarmory, you have to feature Pokemon be something like a Gyarados, or a Drifbloom, or a Togekiss. Again, things that they don't have to be the most meta-relevant Pokemon in the world, but things that would do okay in the league that might get a boost because more people are actually using them. Or you could get diversify the whole league in general because people are bringing more things to counter those, anticipating more people to bring the feature Pokemon to try to get those bonuses. And I think that the part I like most about this whole Tempest Trial feature Pokemon for bonuses theme is that it's inclusive without being intrusive. The downside of something like a completely themed cup is that you're forcing people to use those Pokemon rather than just encouraging them to use those Pokemon. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, I'm just saying that there's pros and cons to it. Let's see, if it swaps over to Masters and we have the similar thing going on, are there any non-legendary Pokemon that fit the flying theme well? That's the other thing about this whole theme. If I was the one making it, I want to make sure that you don't include Pokemon that people wouldn't have access to, which is kind of why I'm steering away from legendaries for the bonuses, but especially when we get up to the Master League, it's kind of inevitable to involve legendary Pokemon to some degree, which is probably why the Premier Cups are a blessing in disguise. The fact that they've added Premier Cups does make this whole Tempest Trial inspired concept I'm coming up with a bit easier to pull off. Because, yeah, we could make, like, one of the featured Pokemon Zapdos, but I almost feel like you'd have to give extra Stardust to compensate for the Stardust you would spend to invest the Zapdos for Ultra League or Master League. But then you create an environment where people want to use those Pokemon because you get more rewards for using them, but they can't because it's either part of a raid that hasn't been around for a long period of time, or they just don't have access to get the legendary Pokemon for other means. Speaking of which, I didn't mention it while going for Go Battle League, but can we bring back legendary Pokemon in the prize pools? I get if it's overkill to have them in there all the time, but maybe for like 1 week each season, we could have a legendary week. Or each week have a day where we can actually get the legendary Pokemon as a prize pool from the Go Battle League. If they're not going to bring legendaries back to research breakthroughs, I feel like this is another alternative they could explore. Because it was fantastic when they had them in the prize pool for Go Battle League. I get it was only a temporary thing until they could get remote raiding working, but even with remote raiding, there's going to be someone out there that can't raid. So to make the game more accessible to them, and to keep Go Battle League interesting, I feel like this could be a good way to approach it. And I noticed that there was some problems that the community had with legendary Pokemon, specifically because that they were still real hard to catch, so especially in areas where social distancing and quarantine are still a thing, having a Pokemon that got through a bunch of Pokeballs wasn't an issue in of itself when you didn't have the means to restock. But point is, I think I got an idea that could limit that. And also, like, make Niantic more willing to do this sort of thing. Because I get raiding is a huge element to draw people for Pokemon Go. Both from getting money from them, because at the end of the day it is a business, as well as pushing some of the core values tied to Niantic itself, including, like, community building and getting out and exploring places, and to a lesser extent, even physical fitness, if you take an account and assume that people will actually walk to these places. So my system for introducing legendary Pokemon into Go Battle League is that each season would have 1 week that would be Legendary Week, we'll say. If you really want to make an event out of it, you can even bump up the number of battles you can do, number of sets you can do in a day from the typical 5 to either a 6 or 7. It depends on like how generous Niantic wants to be with their legendary Pokemon. You would go through your set per usual. The prize pool wouldn't change too much. Depending on how much of an event they want to make out of it, they could like bump the Pokemon encounter down from 3 to 2. As far as I'm concerned, that's up to them though. But point being, the thing I'm willing to be so generous and make you have to work for it is you would get, if you can get up to earning that Pokemon prize, it would be a guaranteed encounter with whatever legendary they were featuring for that particular season. The catch is, you only get 1, maybe 2 encounters with that legendary Pokemon for the day. So if once you caught that legendary Pokemon, even if you did another set, it would just revert back to the normal Gold Battle League prize pool. But if you played the following day, you'd be able to get another encounter with that legendary Pokemon. And when I say it more out loud, I think it would either be best to keep it as the typical 5 sets, or limit it to like 5 Pokemon encounters. Because again, I'm trying to see this as like a compromise between the players and Niantic's perspective. And Niantic doesn't want to make the legendary Pokemon too accessible in order to encourage raiding still. So like even if you only got 3 to 5 legendaries at most for the legendary week, I think just even having a couple encounters with the legendary Pokemon would not only allow them to still use those legendaries to spice up events and allow Niantic to push people towards their core values, but it would also limit the complaint that people have with legendary Pokemon in one of 2 ways. One, if you have less encounters overall, then you don't have to worry about the legendary Pokemon eating up your Pokeballs as quickly. 2, if they limit how many legendary Pokemon you can get, then there'd be more room to be flexible with catching the legendary Pokemon. Like if you could only be guaranteed 3 legendary Pokemon throughout the entire legendary week, Niantic would be more willing to actually improve the odds, if not make it guaranteed, because they don't have to worry about people getting too many legendary Pokemon too quickly. And again, this may sound very limiting, but keep in mind that in my ideal situation, we would have a legendary week for each season of Gold Battle League. So it may not be quite a once a month basis, but be pretty close to that. So overall, people would have plenty of time, plenty of chances to get the legendary Pokemon, especially because I assume that there'd be some legendaries that they want to keep exclusive for raiding. So they would have to like rotate back to Pokemon that they've previously featured for legendary weeks in Go Battle League, probably quicker than we even think. Again, wow, that was a huge side tangent, but I really thought it'd be worth bringing up just to get the idea out there to more people of we can still have legendary Pokemon in Go Battle League without taking away from the other elements that legendary Pokemon help enhance. Backpedaling to the topic at hand, it would be pretty cool if we got Go Battle League Cups, or should I say this whole concept I came up with before with the featured Pokemon. Would be cool, but it's not as needed now that we have Go Battle League Cups. Still, I can think of them enhancing Go Battle League Cups. Because can you imagine like if we had a Great, an Ultra, and a Master League with featured Pokemon that kind of enhanced the cup that they would have at the end? Like you see some of the featured Pokemon and you're like, oh, I have this spare Skarmory that decently ranked on PvP Poke. And it's a featured Pokemon, so I get more Stardust for using it. Why not give it a try? And then you come across a similar thing in Ultra League and Master League, and by the time that the Themed Cup comes around, you're already somewhat familiar with some of the flying types that would be featured in the Flying Cup. I think it's a personally cool idea. But I've been rambling on pretty long as is. This probably won't be the last time I talk about Go Battle League. It's a system that's constantly evolving along with the game. So on top of the fact that there's probably more to talk about that I miss giving feedback on in this particular podcast, I'm sure as Go Battle League evolves, there's other things that we can critique, compliment, and inspire to add. Like I said, if you got any particular cool Pokemon Go Battle League ideas that you want me to share on a future podcast, let me know at Jacket Stuff. Information will be down below. And maybe I'll feature it on a future podcast episode, a future editorial. That said, if you like what you heard, I highly encourage you to give some more positive feedback on whatever platform you're listening to this to. There's the ratings on podcast systems like Spotify and iTunes, or should I say Apple Play Store, Google Play Store, etc. On YouTube, you got the whole liking. And if you want to see more of what I do, I highly encourage you to check out my site. On there, you can see links to the various types of contents I do and how to support me on the platforms that type of content is uploaded and shared on. With all that said, I hope to see you all for more in the future. Take care.